Well, I'm back. I cleaned all the parts off. I cut off all the extra flash that was on there. It was actually quite easy. Before I mentioned it, I had to use a Dremel tool on it, but when I got through it and was messing around with it, with it the camera down, I realized the plastic on all the edges it's really soft plastic, so it was really easy to cut off. I didn't even have to get the Dremel out. I just used my X-Acto knife here and cut it off. And you can see on the head here, there's where I cut it all off. Some parts need to be smoothed out a little bit, but I kind of worked real slowly to make sure that the different parts would. But it was really easy. First, I mentioned before that I thought I had to use a Dremel tool because it appeared to look real hard. But once I set the camera down and was messing around with it, it was really quite flexible and thin. It was real easy to cut through. I just used this kind of dull blade anyways, and I worked real slow so I make sure I didn't cut into the actual model, and then kind of just went as it goes, see how everything fits together. And this kit's got a lot of fit issues. The head fits in there real nicely. Let's see if I can do it here. It has kind of this edge that fits in one way. So it kind of fits in just in that one specific area. The same thing happens for the arms, and but parts are real hard to figure out what exactly it goes through. We'll do this a little hard with the camera, but you can see the big area there where the arm goes, and here's the part. It's pretty much flat. I gotta smooth it out a little bit more, but when you put it in here, there's no really locking pin, so it's hard to tell what angle it's supposed to go at, and you can kind of tell you don't want to go that way because it'll start riding up on that part. So you're just going to find the right angle. It's going to be quite tricky to glue this in here. His left arm is a little easier because it's just one piece. His left arm, or right arm, is in two pieces. Unfortunately, I was looking, and he has to have his hand cocked up like this. I just don't like that pose at all. It's the same one that was on the box, and I thought maybe you could turn it a little bit, but you can't. That's kind of what you get, and that just looks really wimpy because he's in the firing pose almost. So it's really wimpy of AMT to make it this way. Nobody wants to display it that way, so now I don't know what to do because I'm not going to be happy with that. And I know if I try to sculpt it here in a way that makes it so it looks like it's firing, it's going to be this ginormous sculpting project that I don't really want to do right now. So I'd have to kind of got to cut off the flash on that hand still, the last one, but then I have to fill in that gap there, and kind of fill that in with something. I don't think I have any squadron putty right now, and I have Bondo filler, but that's a big long gap. So and there's a hole in this section, so I would have to, I don't know it's gonna be hard to attach this to make it real strong, so I might have to take some plastic and then drill a hole through there and kind of wedge it in here. And oh man, it's gonna be a disaster trying to figure out how that was, and I don't know how well I'll be able to make it look either because I'm not really good at that kind of sculpting thing. Before I did find this canister, I was like, oh, maybe that's the scope thing, but you put it right next to it, and I don't know if that's what it is. I think there's a canister that he has on his belt. So I don't know what to do with the arm. It'll be kind of cool if he looks like he's shooting instead of just holding it up. I think it would look a little more intimidating. It wouldn't really be at the right angle too, because if I just match this in, he's gonna hold his blaster kind of low. But that might work because like a gunfighter, they didn't raise it up real high. Just pull it out as fast as you can and shoot. So We'll see about that. The other things I'm worried about are, you know, the body section. It just kind of sits on top of the legs. We'll show you here. Here's that's really wide there, as you can see. And then the legs are not that wide. So it just kind of sits on there, and you'll have kind of overlap. I think you're supposed to have more overlap kind of in the back, is what it seems like. The directions are really vague, so you're gonna have something like this almost. Let's see if I can. So you're gonna have a gap if you're looking back up through it, and it's gonna be kind of tricky. I don't know how good the contact points are. It don't seem like it's on there much to hold it up, so that's gonna be a disaster, I bet. So this simple project is turning into this really complicated thing right now. There's the holster too. That's kind of like a soft plastic that goes on his side too, but I'll probably do that later. I don't know about this arm. It's gonna be, I don't know what I should do. The model kit's really cheap to buy, so maybe would just make it the way it's supposed to be for this one and then get another one, but I don't know. It's just kind of disappointing you can't have him shooting it, or at least at his side too. Another thing I didn't know about is he has his hand on the boxes kind of sitting down like this. You can see on the instructions. I think it might be more interesting to have his hand facing up. Maybe, I don't know. I have to look in the movie and see how he really does it, but so that's it, the update for this. But if I didn't have to do the arm thing, I would probably be, you know, washing these and primering these right now. I think I suppose I could still, you know, assemble all the parts besides that one arm. But it's going to be really hard to figure out at what angle these legs go, because you can see the foot sits down a certain way, and I'm going to try to look around and see some other people did it. I want it, it'd be nice if it would just stand up on its own, but I have a feeling that I'm going to have to, you know, mount this to the base some way, because it's not going to stay up, because the default like angle of this foot is this, like a 45-degree angle. Like I don't know about that. But the head looks nice details on it, and I like. It'll be real fun to paint once I get that far. Just worried about how well it's gonna stay together. I think the midsection won't be as bad. I think the feet is gonna be the biggest problem. There's no real pins on there. And there kind of was before I cut it all off in a way, but it's like it was wider than the area, so you couldn't really just jam it in there, like. And it almost looks like you would set it on there, but you can see it's just about the same size as the top of it. And I think that they're supposed to be this is supposed to be a slightly larger anyways, because if it was like a real person, the boot would go around it. But I just worry about the gaps of it all. And yeah, that's it. I don't know. This was what happens in models. I get to things like this, and I get stuck and don't know what to do, and then I end up never finishing it. But if I could fix the arm maybe like in that way, so it looks like he's shooting actually. I don't know. If I keep it this way, I think I might just humiliate them and paint an orange cap on the end of the gun, because who wants to display Han Solo not shooting? It's kind of why you got the thing, right?